Today's story is The Mice and the Elephants, a story from the Panchatantra. Long ago in India, there was a deserted village. Empty were the old houses, streets, and shops. The windows were open, the stairs broken, making it one very fine place for mice to run around. You can be sure of that. In fact, the mice were happily living in this old deserted village that had been there for hundreds of years, even before the people had come in the first place and then left. But now was the best time yet for the mice. They made tunnels all through those fine old homes and buildings, forming great mazes. What good times they had with their many dinner parties and festivals, weddings and feasts. And so the time passed. One day, a herd of elephants, numbering in the thousands, stamped through the village on their way to a big lake in the west. All the elephants were thinking about as they marched was how good it would be to jump in that lake for a cool swim. They did not know, and how could they, that as they marched through the village, those big elephant feet were stamping down the mazes and tunnels the mice made. What a mess those elephants left behind. The mice quickly held a meeting.
If the herd comes back this way again, our community is doomed,
cried one mouse.
We won't stand a chance,
cried another. There was only one thing to do. A group of brave mice followed those elephant footprints all the way to the lake. There they found the king of the elephants. Bowing before him, one mouse spoke for the others and said,
"O king, not far from here is our mice community. It's in that old deserted village you passed through. You may remember it?"
"Of course I remember it," said the Elephant King. "But we did not know a mice community was there."
"How could you?" said this mouse. "But your herd stamped out many of the homes where we have lived for hundreds of years. If you were to return the same way, that would surely be the end of us. We are small, and you are big, but we ask you, please, won't you find another way to go home? Who knows, maybe someday we mice can help you, too."
The Elephant King smiled. Imagine, how could tiny mice ever help an elephant? But he felt truly sad his herd had crushed the village of the mice without even knowing it. He said,
"There is no need for you to worry. I will lead the herd home in another way."
It so happens that nearby lived a certain king who ordered his hunters to trap as many elephants as they could. Knowing that the elephants came from far and wide to jump in the big lake to swim, they made a water trap there. As soon as the Elephant King and his herd jumped into that lake, they were caught in the trap, one and all. 2 days later, the hunters dragged the Elephant King and his herd out of the lake with large ropes and tied the elephants to big trees in the forest. When the hunters had gone, the Elephant King tried to think. What could they do? They were all tied to the trees but one elephant. She was free because she did not jump in the lake. The Elephant King called to her. He told her that she must go back to the old deserted village and bring back the mice who lived there. When the mice found out the trouble that the Elephant King and his herd were in, they raced over to the lake. Seeing the king and his herd tied up, they quickly ran over to the ropes and began chewing. They chewed and chewed as quickly as they could. Soon the ropes were chewed all the way through, and the mice set their large friends free. The elephant herd found a new way home, and the mice community lived on for many years to come. When I think of that herd of elephants tromping right through the deserted village and not having any clue about the damage they were doing to the mice, it sounds pretty familiar. It makes me think of all the times that I've done something or said something and hurt someone else's feelings, or maybe made their life harder, without even realizing that I was doing it. I think we all sometimes hurt other people by accident. Maybe because we don't realize how strong we are. Maybe because we didn't know that a joke would hurt someone's feelings. Maybe something else that I haven't even thought of yet. I think it's impossible to do everything right the first time and to go through life without ever making a mistake or hurting someone's feelings or stomping on a mouse village. But when we make a mistake, we can be like the Elephant King. We can say, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was hurting you." We can say, "Thanks for telling me. I'm glad that now I know." And we can say, "I'll do it differently next time so that I don't hurt you or your village." Just like the Elephant King, we can learn to grow and be better people. No one starts out perfect. No one ends up perfect. We spend our whole life making mistakes. That's human. But when we do make a mistake, we can be like the elephant, apologize, and do better next time. This story is adapted by Elaine Lindy from the story The Mice That Set the Elephants Free, which comes from a translation from the Panchatantra. The Panchatantra is an ancient collection of Sanskrit stories that are incredibly entertaining and instructive. And this one was adapted for the website Stories to Grow By.